Welcome to our part 2 with Martha Garcia. She's going to share a little bit more of her immigration story with us, and she's going to share a beautiful spiritual experience and an amazing dream. So stay tuned.
And the journey from one country to another, it is like so empowering, because I look back and I'm like, I cannot let my mom down. I am not gonna let her down.
Oh God, I feel
because
you.
she went through all that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have to go above and beyond to do everything 110%. That's probably why I have always done it that way, because I want to make her proud. I want to make my dad proud. I want them to know that all their struggles was all worth it, and I want my girls to know that yes, we are from Mexico and we are educated. We got the opportunity to come to this country to make a better life, and that's the reason why they're here. That's the reason why they have the life that they do here, because of their grandma, my mom and dad. Then it came down to us, and then even my husband, his parents are from Mexico too. His story is a lot different than mine, but still, just having that cultural background, it is so powering and it's so wonderful, because I always think about being very colorful and being happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't look at our culture as, oh, I don't belong here or there. There was a time in my life where I thought that. I was like, where do I really belong? Do I really belong from Mexico, or do I belong here, or am I in the middle? Because sometimes you can't be too Mexican and you can't be too Americanized. Like you have both. And I tell my girls, I'm like, you have that benefit. You have the benefit of having the Mexican culture in you and having all that joy and colorful and those traditions that people might think that we're very different. That's what makes us us. And then you have the American side, because we're here. Regardless of where you're born, I mean, we're here in the United States, and this is our home now.
Exactly.
I'm never gonna forget where I'm from. That's something I'm gonna have with me forever. But yes, I'm here now, so I have to make the best of it.
I connect with you on so many of the things you said, probably because we are sisters, but but you said something about mom and dad sacrifices coming over here. And Martha, I totally relate to you on that, because I've always thought about this, and I've shared this in some of my other videos, that what mom and dad went through to get us here is like something I can't even imagine. I can't even put myself in that position to say, all right, let's go, let's cross the border, like let's have the faith that everything's going to be okay. That takes so much. So you're right. Whenever we're here now, it's like we do give everything 110% and everything we do, because it's like there were so many sacrifices made that we can't let them down.
Exactly.
Like we cannot let them down, and we cannot let ourselves down. So I feel you on that. And for all the other people that are watching that maybe have had DACA, or maybe they don't even have DACA, maybe there's still immigrants here that are undocumented, what would you say to those people? Because you've been there too. Now you've got your residency, but before this, we didn't have anything.
Even before, when we didn't have anything, I mean, really nothing stopped me, to be honest with you. I always, if you needed papers to do something, there was always a way to do that same thing. You just have to get informed. You can't lose hope. You cannot lose hope, because change is always coming, even if it's not at the right time. Like for me, I wanted that change a long time ago. I remember getting out of driver's ed class, and all I could get was my permit. I couldn't get my driver's license, and I was so sad. I was like, oh my God. I said, but you know what? I got my driver's permit. I can still drive. So I drove. You have to find the alternate options. Schooling, for example. You might not have proper documentation to get financial aid, but yes, you can continue classes. And there are programs that will pay for them. I mean, you just have to go to the college. You have to go to the school. You have to go and get information. There's always a way. There's so many people donating money for a good cause, and if they see potential in you, they're gonna help you. They're gonna help you. And I just want people to know that there's always a solution. I mean, my mom always said, no te encierres. Like don't get like trapped in that little box. Don't give up. And you know what? We never did. You know, even with the driver's license situation, when it came to opening a bank account, well, yeah, you might not have a social, but yes, you can apply for an ITIN number, and yes, it's easy to do that. There you go. Yeah. You might not be able to go to a 4-year college, but yes, you can go to a community college. Like, you know, you might not be able to apply for a credit card, but hey, you might be able to apply for a secured credit card if you have an ITIN number. There are so many options now, you know, that there's no stopping people. You might not be able to get where you want at this time, but you cannot stop moving forward. You know, if you stop moving forward, that's it, you're giving up.
Exactly.
But if you do the most you can do at that time, then when that law changes and you can submit your paperwork, then you're going to be ahead of the game. You're going to be ready. You know, that's what I told myself. I said, oh no, I know that day's coming and I know it's going to happen for me and I'm going to be ready. And guess what? I was ready because nothing stopped me. I still got my driver's permit. I drove. I still had a bank account because I had my ITIN. You know, I did all these things that were doable, you know, and I want people to know too, you know, just because you get your permanent residency doesn't mean your problems go away. A lot of people think, oh my God, you got papers, you're good. Well, yeah, I might have papers, but I got to do the work. Like, I'm not just going to sit home like, oh, I got papers now, I don't got to do nothing.
Over.
It's over. No, you still have to work. You still have to, you know, live life as a regular person. Just because you have papers doesn't mean that you're that you're exceptional, that you're special. No, that just means that you have the chance to do more things that you couldn't do before.
Exactly.
That is it. You know, so I don't see that as, it's a big change, you know, because I was waiting a long time to become a permanent resident. But even the journey to do that, oh my God, let me tell you guys about that journey. That journey was very tough for me. I had to go to Juarez, Mexico for my last appointment. And just the thought of leaving my girls here.
Oh gosh, I know,
And traveling to Mexico and not knowing if I was going to get approved or denied, and my girls were in the United States. Okay, that really broke me. That really took a lot of strength out of me and my husband too, because we had to decide, okay, what if you don't get approved? What is our little family gonna do? You know, and it was so wonderful because he even said, you know what, don't worry about it, we will move to Texas and the girls can be in Texas and you can be in Mexico and we'll work it out that way. That's not what I wanted. That like broke me. That broke me in half. I was like, no. I'm like, you know what, no. I mean, I did a lot of meditational moments. I prayed a lot. I asked for a miracle, if you say. I said, you know what, I'm crossing this border and I'm coming back. I said, I can't stay and I will not stay. I refuse to stay. You know, I was like, I'm not leaving my girls. I said, I'm not. And then in the other hand, I was like, but I can't even imagine if I get denied. Like, it was just
not an option.
It was not an option. And I remember getting off the plane. And my husband's family picked us up and we crossed the border. I remember seeing the Mexico sign and oh my God, it really hit me because you can see the different life in Texas to Mexico. Like the houses, I mean the roads, oh my God, the people, oh God. And even though I know I'm from Mexico, it felt so strange. It felt like a strange land because it's been so long. Because I haven't been there. I mean, I was like in 4th grade the last time I was there. I mean, it's like, oh God, it was a really, really different. It was a very good experience because I got to see the culture in Mexico, and now I can compare it to something more than just my memories. But God, it was really, really rough. The day of my appointment, oh my gosh. I was one of the last ones.
Always works out that way, huh?
I was like, okay, I got there and there were about 500-600 people, okay, all in chairs waiting for their appointment, and they started calling people, and they called me in, and I said, yeah, you know, good. But then, for me to go to the window, I waited, and they were like maybe 20 people left. From all those 500-600 people.
Oh my goodness.
And I was one of them. And I was sitting in the chair and I was like, this is horrible. I was so nervous and I was so scared, and I was like, why am I the last one? I said, did they find something wrong? Did I miss a paper?
Yeah.
Did, I mean, everything was running through my mind, and I was just thinking, my husband's waiting for me outside. He's been waiting
for hours
on the street, on the street in the heat. I was like, okay. I was like, he can handle the heat, but I was just patient. Just waiting is the hardest part. So they called me, they did my little interview, and as soon as the guy said approved, I swear to God, I felt like a relief. I was like, I'm going home. And I still couldn't believe it. I was shaking, walking out, and then I saw my hubby, and he hugged me, and he had no idea. He didn't know yet. He didn't know yet. He didn't. So he's crying. He saw me crying, and he was like, "No, don't tell me." I'm like, "No, I got approved." He said, "Oh my God!" But you know what? Yeah, I mean, it was emotional for both of us. It was really emotional, and we did get to spend time with his family down there. Yeah, they're so wonderful, and they made us feel so special. But just the journey. I mean, you know what? Your life has so many journeys, and. And I never thought that I would be going through anything like this until it happens. But oh my God.
I think it's interesting because you had the same mentality that I had and that Sam had, our brother. We all did the same thing in Juarez, but you also didn't see like another option. You're like, no, I'm coming back home. Yes. Like, we can't entertain that. And we talk so much here about, when you really believe in something and you give it energy, this is what's going to come true. And I believe it, Martha. I believe it, and I've seen it with me, and I've seen it with you. I've seen it with our family. When I went down there, I had my little document, and I titled it Mission Possible because I was like, I had to give myself a little pep talk, know? And it sounds like you did the same thing, just verbally. You're like, there's no option. I'm coming back. And there's so much power in that, in really believing it and giving all your energy to it. And when it presents itself before you, then what do you do with that? Like, okay, you're excited in the moment, but what do you do after, now that you realize that importance of what you wish for, what you give energy to is created?
Oh my God, that is so powerful because, without thinking, I think I have gave power to mostly everything that I have done in a way.
Oh yeah.
And I do believe in like your inner power for everything. A lot of people might not, they're skeptical or whatever. That's their choice. But I believe that yes, if you give it your all and you give your energy, because we're all energy. I don't know if y'all know that, but we're all energy, and we have all these wonderful like energy vibes, okay? And they're so different. They're so different because if you wake up sad, you have a different vibe. If you're happy, you're vibrating and all this stuff. So if you're thinking of something and you give it your all, like for real, like you open your heart and your mind and you just let it go, it is so wonderful because you don't have to worry about it. Like, I don't really worry about much. I really don't, and I kind of go with the flow. And if it happens, this is my saying, if it happens, it's meant to be. If it's not meant to be, it's not going to happen. So don't force it.
Yes.
But those good vibes and energies, it goes a long way.
I see
long
that.
way.
I see that. And so for some of our viewers that have trouble giving energy to something that they love and letting the universe take care of it, what could be your advice? Maybe something that helped you get to that point where you trust the universe and you trust yourself.
Well, okay, for me it's kind of different. I think I started feeling these energy vibes since I was very young. But they didn't get intense until I was working with the elderly people. Wow. Like the vibe and the connection that like me and a few of my elderly patients had is like beyond. I can't even explain the feeling because it's so personal. A lot of them, have passed on, and I have a lot of memories, a lot of good memories, but a lot of sad ones too. But I have learned from them, and it's so special for me to help someone and to learn something back. And that connection and that vibe is there. So when you're with someone 5 days a week, 7 days a week, they're part of your family. Working 12-hour shifts, they're part of your family. I get to work and it's my family. I'm there. So you feel it. You feel everything they go through. Well, I feel everything they go through, and I would try to make it better. I was always a fixer. I was always trying to make it better, So I guess I would take their bad vibes and make them feel better in a way. But when a few of them passed on, it was like the greatest, I guess, saddest feeling, but more intense. When I got the opportunity to be there, at their last moments of life, just their family was not able to be there, they were alone. I could not bear to leave them alone. There's no reason why somebody should pass on alone. So I was always there. I was always with them. I would talk to them. I would pray with them. If they had a favorite song, I would sing to them, even though I can't sing. Aww. But I would do these things because the energy that you get from them, even when they're gone, is so special. It's like vibrating. It's like your heart is so sad and hurting, but then you have this other side of you that you're happy because they're not suffering. So this vibrating feeling, it could mean so many different things for so many people, but for me, I have my spark over here, but then I have my feelings over here with my with my patients. And I don't know, I think death has showed me another side of life that people don't really get to see or share with a loved one, or even someone that you don't know. I mean, there were times that I would get a patient for a few hours and they would pass on, and I was there. And even though we didn't have that long connection, but you're there with them, and that those moments, I can't really explain it. I think it's something really personal that I have. It's that connection of, like, I guess, guiding them or making them feel comfortable and not be scared at that moment. And that's something that I always have had, and I have helped so many to move on. And that's where that feeling intensifies, and it's very personal, and it's strong. It's so powerful, that, I mean, I treasure it. I can still feel it and remember, those residents, and it's just happiness. I'm happy for them. They had a great life, and honestly, they're gonna have a great afterlife if they believe in that. So that those feelings and those energies are just great.
And it sounds like you have a gift with that, because I remember some stories that you've shared with us about that, and it's almost like yes, you guide them into passing to the other life, and making them feel comfortable and reassuring them, like, look, you're not alone, I'm here with you, and it's going to be peaceful, like, it's going to be okay for you, right? And not many people can do that, because it takes a lot. You've got to be calm, you've got to have that loving energy within you, and you've got to be strong while you're doing it, I'm assuming. And it sounds like you had all that literally bottled up within yourself, and you're like, let's do this, I'm going to help you through it.
Because for me, it's not something like strange or different. For me, it just comes natural.
Exactly.
It's really natural to me, so it's not, I don't have a hard time helping or doing it. But let me share this story real quick.
Please.
I had a dream one day. I was working at the hospital, I remember, and I went home, and I was like, oh, and for some reason, I had this thought, I wonder if the tunnel is real, like when somebody passes on and they talk about this tunnel and the light. I'm like, I wonder if this is really happening, like if this is really real. And I had a dream about that, really brief, and then I went to work the next morning. And let me tell you, I got this new patient, and she was in a wheelchair. She was paralyzed, and she was in bed, and I went to check on her, do her vitals, and she was like, I need to tell you something. And I'm like, you do? I'm like, okay. I said, go ahead, tell me. And then she told me her story. I got goosebumps all over, because that is a sign from the universe. She told me that she doesn't know why, and she didn't know why, but she needed to tell me her story. She said she was in a really bad car accident, and she was in ICU, intensive care unit, for like 2 weeks. They had her intubated. She was under the machine. She couldn't breathe on her own. She was literally just laying there. She said that she remembers the voices, and she remembers the smells of the people. She said that she could smell and she knew who it was, or she could hear the voice and she knew who it was. And she said that she died 2 times.
During
yeah, she remembers that the first time She remembers that she saw the white light.
Oh my gosh.
She saw the white tunnel, and that she was standing there and she was getting ready to walk. And then way back, far in the background, she heard the nurses started giving her, CPR and using the AED machine to bring her back. They brought her back. A few minutes later, she died again.
Same tunnel.
Same tunnel.
Wow.
Same light. Same everything. But she said this time she heard a voice, and that voice told her, "Are you ready?
Wow.
Are you ready to come, or are you ready to stay?" And the first thing that she thought about was her family, and she's like, "No, I'm not ready. I am not ready to go. I have my family. I have things that I have to do." And in the background again, she heard the nurses, and they use the AED, and they brought her back.
Wow.
And she came back this time. And she said the story, for her, it was, she couldn't believe it even happened, first of all.
Right, okay.
Second of all, her faith wasn't that good at that moment.
Yeah.
But after this happened, a few days later, she started opening her eyes. She started talking. She had to learn how to try to move and walk, even though she couldn't anymore. She's in a wheelchair now. But for her to share her story with me without not even knowing me, without not even knowing that I had the dream the night before.
Yeah.
That just answered my own question.
Yes.
And I'm like, look, I even get goosebumps now because I'm like, okay, the universe works so good in so different ways. I mean, why would I get her? I could have gotten any patient.
And she didn't have to tell you.
And she didn't have to tell me.
Yeah.
And when she told me her story, I mean, just to hear from her, like, she was like, it was that energy. And I'm like, and I looked at her and I felt like telling her, oh my God, I had the dream.
Yes.
But I didn't.
You didn't. Okay.
Something was like, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I just told her, thank you for sharing that with me. I said, I love your story.
Wow.
And I walked out of the room and I was in shock. I was like, my answer just came.
Yes.
So see, I mean, it's just, the universe works in different ways with different people.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be, it could be a stranger. I mean, you just don't know. But that was wonderful.
And I think it's so cool too because it's like, okay, the dream was here just letting you know, like, okay, first I have this question.
Yes.
Like, I need this answered. And it was presented to you in waking state. And we're always talking about here how we need to unite the two, right? You can ask a question in waking, get it in sleep. You can ask it here and here. But if we don't begin to unite these two worlds, we miss out on so much info. And it sounds like you just literally got them connected. And you're like, ooh, goosebumps, I'm feeling it.
Yes.
All of it answered, Martha.
Yes.
And that's so powerful because I'm sure that's not the only time it's happened to you. Maybe it's the one that's like most vivid. But if you want other questions answered, I'm sure it's going to come up in that way. And you're going to get those feelings and you're going to know you're on the right path.
Yes. And
that's amazing.
And, sometimes, at the nursing home, I would get like random visitors. And there was always like these two, like, it was a couple. And I think they were from Africa, and they used to wear this turban thing, and they used to dress colorful. And for some reason, every time that they would stop by, they would come and talk to me, and when I looked in their eyes, they looked so familiar.
Aww.
It was that connection of like, and they were like, I know you from somewhere. They would tell me, like, I remember you from somewhere, but I can't remember from where. And even the husband was like, oh yes, you look so familiar, and she was like, yeah, you could be like part of our family. And I was like, well, you know what? I said, I don't know. I said, but you guys look very familiar to me too, but I can't tell you from where. But it was just that connection too. I mean, it's just random.
It's so beautiful because sometimes too, I mean, if people believe in past lives, it could be one of those experiences too. And it's not until we're in it and we're living it and you see these people in the face that you're like, oh my gosh, this is the thing. Like this could be a thing. Sometimes we close our minds and eyes to that, but it's when you're approached with it, then there's no denying.
Oh yes, I mean, you can't deny that because it was that like look, and we were like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you, but I don't know you.
Yes.
So it was just wonderful. All those little connections you make with different people. So wonderful.
They're all meaningful, and it's so beautiful because you've done so much, Martha, when it comes to your education and everything, but also with your immigration story, with all these amazing connections you've made with the elderly. It sounds to me like there's so much that can still be shared, and we certainly don't have enough time to share it all here on this live, but we'd be very happy to invite you to another one to continue some of these conversations. I bet we're going to get some questions about the last tidbit you shared with the elderly and the connection in the other life. I know we'll get questions on that. But is there anything else you want to share with our viewers? Any kind of last messages you want to leave them with?
Yes, I do. I just want to tell everybody that change is great. Change is wonderful. Change will open the doors to a new world. So don't be scared to take that leap of faith and just go with it. You know, and if you don't have that spark yet, look for that spark. You know, don't ignore your feelings. You know, listen to your heart, listen to your mind, listen to your body. You know, that's pretty much what it is. You have to listen to your inner self. And that is going to help you and guide you like more than half the way. You know, believe in yourself 110%, and wake up every morning and tell yourself that your day is going to be great. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself, and just go for it. If a door closes, another one will open.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. Oh, I feel like we can all take a lot of tidbits from what she has just said, you guys. This is so fabulous. And, you know, you've probably seen us get a little emotional during this talk. We haven't really heard each other's immigration stories, if you can believe that. It's been such a pleasure for me, Martha and sis of mine, to hear your perspective, because I was so little. I don't remember those moments. But you've given me another way to look at it too, and to find even new appreciation with it. So thank you very much for sharing all that with us.
Thank you.
I feel that this is going to be an opportunity. I'm not sure where this is going to lead, but I feel that this isn't the last time you're going to be here.
Okay, I hope not. I will be happy to come anytime. Any questions, I will answer them.
Thank you, sis. Yep. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. And if you have any questions for Martha, put them down in the comments. But we both send you a huge hug. We send you love, unity, and peace. And we will see you soon. Bye. Everybody.